trivia, t-shirts, and more. Plus, stop in and get tickets for great promotions like UWA Elite, CZW, and many others. Located indoors at the world-famous English Town Flea Market, Green Building, booth number 35 on 90 Wilson Avenue, Manalapan Township, New Jersey. Open every Saturday and Sunday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Log on to Facebook.com/Finkelstein Inc. for more information.
This is the War Machine Rhino, the last ever ECW World Heavyweight Champion, and you're listening to Damage 365 Radio. Keep listening, or you'll get gored in half.
WarriorsOfWrestling.com. See roster profiles of past and present Warriors of Wrestling stars. Over 50 highlight videos of Warriors of Wrestling events, full-length matches, order tickets to future Warriors of Wrestling events, and an extensive DVD collection featuring past events, compilations, documentaries, and much, much more. Only at WarriorsOfWrestling.com.
This is Lanny Poffo, formerly the genius full of glory and renown. You are listening to Damage 365 Radio.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Okay.
Hi everyone, we are back. I'm still here with Scott Finkelstein. Scott, so we've mentioned your website a few times. So if I'm getting this right, it's getlostphotography.smugmug.com.
Indeed it is.
Excellent. People can check out the albums there. I was looking at...
There are hundreds of albums.
Yeah, I was seeing there was one, Ring of Honor one, I can't remember which one it was, but the front cover photo was a really great picture of Nakamura. That was, like, really amazing. That I guess was maybe when he was coming to ringside. It looks like it may have been as he was approaching the ring. It looks really amazing.
Well, I've been shooting digitally since 2005, and I have things posted from 2007 on that website. So there's vintage Ring of Honor, there's Jersey All Pro, there are shows that don't exist anymore, lots of conventions, and there's even a few travel kind of things if you're into that. So, check them out. I hope you're a fan of the site, and, it'd be great to have new fans as a result of this podcast as well.
Yeah, like I said, the pictures are really amazing, and I'm definitely going to make sure to put the website address into the description, so if people just want to click on a link and go right there, they can do that. And I'll make sure to try to mention it around on social media. And speaking of social media, where can people find you on social media if they want to say hi or talk to you about pictures or anything like that?
Scott Finkelstein. It's sort of like the Finkelstein store. I'm going to have to talk to Dan and Heather about that. It's Scott Finkelstein, Finkelstein. You can hit me up on Facebook. My email address is on the website, getlostphotography@yahoo.com. I also use the site to plug the various leagues I'm going to be at this Saturday because of a scheduling arrangement with work. I'm not going to be able to head out to Jersey All Pro in Bayonne. Those guys are good friends. I wish them all the luck. If you can get out to Bayonne, it's a hell of a card. Team Pazuzu versus the heavy hitters Homicide and Low Key. Nice. That's going to be stellar. But I'm also going to be with my good friends over at WrestlePro New Jersey at Rawway because it's about half the travel time. I'm not going to be able to get out of work early, so I have to take what I can get as far as shooting. Next week, Dan and Heather are going to drive me out to Joppa, Maryland for Evolve.
Oh, nice.
And then the next night at Club La Boom. I think Evolve sold out there. I'm not sure. Go to their website. But, I've talked about Ring of Honor a lot. I'm a huge Ring of Honor mark. Mm-hmm. But I got to tell you, Evolve is some of the best stuff you'll ever see. Right. And, I love anything written by Dave Sapolsky. Mm-hmm. So see that. Ring of Honor and New Japan are going to be in New York City on the 14th. I'm certain that's sold out, but on the 8th, they do have their pay-per-view, and I know it's, I think it's $35. I'm not quite sure how much it is online, but support indie wrestling, man, because I really don't like the WWE's product. I really don't. I have it on. I've discussed this with people in WWE as well. We all watch wrestling, but we only ever have the WWE on. And what I mean by that is I'll sit and I'll watch a DVD of New Japan, Evolve, Ring of Honor, Jersey All Pro. I'll sit and I'll watch that, but when it comes time to Raw and SmackDown, I have it on, but you're kind of doing other things, and AJ's on, I'll stop and watch AJ.
Right, yeah, I know Cesaro. I'm always like, what's Cesaro doing? Like, he's back, yeah, what's going on with Claudio? Yeah, and Kevin, Steen, and of course, Sammy. These are my guys, man. I'm so happy for the success that these guys have had, and it really does go to show you that ROH's influence now, as ECW was back in the late '90s and early 2000s, because these guys got their national prominence from ROH. There's no doubting that. Right. So it's great to see the kind of wrestling that I love watching. Now, AJ just popped up on my TV right now. This is the stuff I like. I never liked the Hulk Hogan. During that era, during the comic book era of WWF, I was watching TBS. I was watching, wrestling from Georgia, because it was a more believable, stylistic form of professional wrestling. It didn't make you. Yeah, this is how I if I take someone to a pro wrestling match, I don't mind if they go, okay, I know you're into it, but it's not really for me. I don't mind that. Right. But I really mind if they turn to me and go, you watch this crap? I'm never embarrassed by the indies. Sometimes what I see in the WWE, I'm like, all right, that really didn't happen, did it? But, and you've mentioned Chikara, and I know you have your issues with them, but if you want to laugh, Chikara is one of the most inventive comedic wrestling outlets, and it's not because of the organization, but it's because the guys in there love what they're doing, and it shows. Absolutely. I will say, I still am a big, huge mark for classic Chikara. You give me something from 2007, 2008, 2009, I'm into it. Like, I just bought, not all that long ago, the best of 2007, because I didn't have it, and I just loved watching the old stuff. So I'm definitely a very much a mark, really, for classic Chikara. Like, I still love 3.0. They're still my favorite tag team, and I love watching them there. I know. I just love 3.0, and I like that kind of stuff. And I do like the fun, lighthearted stuff. And I do like, I'm kind of the opposite. I like the vintage NWA. I do. Like Flair and Dusty and Terry Funk. We're talking 70s. Like, kind of gritty, like more real kind of wrestling, that more gritty wrestling. But I really liked the 90s WWF stuff. I'm watching it now on the network, and I'm just absolutely loving it and just enjoying watching it.
That's where you and I differ. I thought the 80s to 90s were kind of a low point for them. And at that point there was, I think that's when I found ECW, and 95, and 95 ECW. I believe the first show I watched from ECW, it was showing scenes from Gangsta's Paradise, right. And I was blown away. Not from the violence aspect, but they had as much wrestling as they did violence. Hey, can I tell a real quick story?
Sure, absolutely.
All right. A league that I used to work with, NWS, National Wrestling Superstars, they were bringing in Sabu. And Dapper Johnny Falco, I used to write his press releases, and they were going to put Sabu against the Equalizer. Okay. And I was like, the entire up and down, I just thought, that's a horrible match.
Right.
And so when it came time to actually write the press release, and I'm like, really? You're really going to go through with that? And goes, he was actually exasperated. Okay, who would you put him up against? And he goes, and remember, Sabu's commanding a good piece of change, so it can't be anyone expensive. So I gave him 3 names.
Okay.
And one of the names I gave him was Ace Starling.
Wow.
And Ace hadn't worked with them in a long time, but he goes, well, I don't have contact for him. And I'm like, I do. You want me to get him in touch with you? And he goes, yeah, you can do that. And that's who they got. They got Ace Starling, which was just a great match in Raritan High School here in New Jersey. And I've seen film, and Mike Moraldo, Ace Starling, had also told me the next night they did it in Tower City, PA, and it was even better.
Wow.
So that was good because, Ace is a very classic, he's actually a classic 90s wrestler. Very solid, good high flying, much better, fit for Sabu. But what the promoter didn't know was that Sabu is actually a hell of a worker. He's not just hitting people with chairs and table spots. Right. And that's something ECW got a really bum rap about. It wasn't all barbed wire and kendo sticks. There was a lot of great wrestling.
That's absolutely true. I mean, I watched it too, and I was always able to keep them separate, I guess, like WWE and ECW separate, and appreciate them for the different things that they brought. But I absolutely agree. I mean, they brought a little bit of everything. I mean, they brought in the Japanese guys, because they were working with FMW, which is awesome, over in Japan. They had the luchadors come up from Mexico, so you had, your Rey Mysterio, Juventud Guerrera, those guys. And then you had your great solid workers, you guys like Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, Chris Benoit, those guys. And so they had...
Chris Candido.
Oh, yeah, of course. Can't forget Chris Candido at all. There's so many, just really great wrestlers that worked for ECW. And I do want to wrap up, and I want to bring you back. I'm hoping, Scott, that you'll come back, because I'd like to talk to you more about wrestling and more about these kind of things. I think we could have a really great conversation, so I'm hoping you'll come back on the show so we can talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, well, we'll see if, people tuned out of this, Even if we have 6 listeners, it's a bigger pay-per-view.
I think that, I think it would be, like I said, a really interesting conversation, and I'd love to talk to you more about it. So I don't think people tune out. I think it's interesting, and I think it's when you've seen so much wrestling, it's kind of cool because you get a perspective that I think, not everyone has, or maybe fans who are newer to wrestling don't have, or younger, and I find now when I'm looking back, and I was watching this 1990s Raws, I've seen them. I watched them when they were on TV, but now I'm watching them again. I'm looking at them a little differently, a little deeper. I had a few classes, so I've been in the ring a little bit, and things. So I have like a different perspective. I was saying today even, I was watching them. They were taking down the ropes for the sumo match between Earthquake and Yokozuna on Raw back in '94, and when I was a kid, that was boring to me. I don't care, But now I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, what are they doing? Or how are these ropes put together? And what are they doing? And it was fascinating to me because I've done it, ring crew, and I still like to do it, and it's interesting. So it's kind of cool. So I definitely want to tell you more again, and I want people to go and check out your photography because it's really excellent. So I want them to go to Get Lost Photography.smugmug.com. I want them to check you out on Facebook. Check out your pictures and whatnot. And like I said, I hope to talk to you. I'm sure I'll see you soon. I'm sure I'll see you around. But I'd like to talk to you again on the podcast.
Sounds great, Debs. Thank you for having me.
Scott, thank you for being on the show. This has been really great, and I really enjoyed the conversation. So thank you again.
Take care.
Have a great night.
You too.
Everyone, thank you for listening. That was Scott Finkelstein.